sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is quoted to have said, وَيْلٌ لمن استمع إلى هذه الآية ولم يتفكر فيها. Woe to those who would listen to this verse and not ponder about it. And that's why here Allah is directing us to look into the construction of the sky, because this is one of the logical ways of seeing the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the magnanimity of the Creator, the omnipotence of this Creator. And when we look into the sky, what's in the sky? The first thing we see is the moon. The moon is a sphere of rock, a ball of rock that revolves around its own axis with the same speed as it revolves around the earth. And that's why we see only one face of the moon. We don't see all faces.
Yes.
See only one face of the moon. The moon is at an average distance from the earth that's calculated to be 380,000 kilometers. Then we see the sun. And the sun is at a distance of 150 million kilometers. And the sun is the source of energy to the earth and to the rest of the solar system. The solar system is composed of 11 planets. 11 planets. 9 of them were known before, and then a 10th one is considered to be an exploded planet between Mars and Jupiter, and is counted as one of the planets because the remnants of explosion, these asteroids as they call them, have a certain fixed orbit through which it revolves. And then the 11th planet was discovered at the beginning of this year and was called Sedna. And these are the components of our solar system. The most distant planet, Sedna, is at a distance of 120,000 million kilometers away from the sun. Something unbelievable.
How did they find it?
Once, of course, there are ways and means of calculating it. You see. This is our solar system, and this solar system has been going on for billions of years without any collapse, without any
problems
or any accidents happening
and
to
this
these
solar
planets.
system is just a part of the sky.
A small part of the sky.
Small part of the sky.
Yes. In the early days, people thought that the solar system is the totality of the universe. But we came to realize that this is only a small part of a stellar aggregation called the galaxy. Our galaxy is called the Milky Way because it looks at night as if some scattered milk drops have been spelled out on the sky, you see, with the dark background of the sky. The stars look like as small shining specks, simulating little drops of milk dropped on a dark road or something like that. So this Milky Way is a huge thing. It has got an axis of 100,000 light years. 100,000 light years. And light year is 9.5 million kilometers.
Wow.
And it's got a thickness of 10,000 light years. And you can imagine how huge this disc-shaped galaxy looks like. And it contains more than 1 million stars. 1 million stars. And inasmuch as our sun has got its own satellites of planets, moons, asteroids, comets, you name it, everything in our solar system, so every one of these stars has got its own satellites. And at a time people thought that our galaxy is the totality of the universe. Only recently we came to realize that the small sector of the first sky, which astronomers have studied, contain between 200 billion to 300 billion galaxies. Some of these galaxies are much larger than ours. Some are slightly smaller. And you could imagine that all this is contained in a small sector of the first sky with a diameter more than 24 billion light years.
SubhanAllah. Okay, Doctor, we'll stop here for a short break.
Yes.
Inshallah, continue after the break. Thank you very much. Welcome after the break. Our dear professor, we're speaking about the building of the sky.
Yes.
And you were telling us that the solar system is just a small part of the sky.
Yes.
I would like to ask, does this sky, this huge sky, have pillars?
Have
Pillars?
pillars, yes. Of course, you see this intricate, complex structure cannot stay in contact with each other without a means of connection. And what scientists assume this means of connection today is gravity. And gravity is one of the basic forces in that universe that hold these heavenly bodies as well as the earth closely knit to each other in a structure with no voids, in a structure with no emptiness,
No
in
gaps.
a structure, no gaps whatsoever. So it is a build-up. It's a building. The universe is well built up, and this building we can only see a small sector of it. The most amazing thing is that in that sector we can see various densities of matter. We can see the density of the sun, which is slightly less than the density of water. Density of the sun.
Density of the sun is less
Less
than
than
the
density
because
of-
helium is very
And hydrogen as
yes,
well.
and hydrogen,
It's mainly composed of hydrogen,
Hydrogen, yeah.
and helium. We can see densities much greater than that in the planets and in the moons. And then we can see densities much, much greater than that in the final condensation of stars. Stars, like anybody else, like anything else in this universe, pass through phases. Birth and youthfulness, then maturity, and then old age, and then dying out. And
Stars die.
they die out, of course, like anything else, you see. And we know nowadays we know that stars are being created from the initial smoke, which came as a product, as a result of the explosion of the initial body, or what we call Big Bang. And stars also die out and return to a smoky form. So in exactly the same parallel that life on earth, plants, animals and humans are created from the dust of the earth. And once we die, and animals die, and plants die, we go back to the soil of the earth. So we find stars are created from smoke, and they die out to smoke. And this process, yes.
That means that we have, if the stars die out, that means that we have stars, a newborn stars.
Definitely,
We
all
get
the
that.
time.
Oh.
Because unless a replacement is being immediately created,
Right.
this can create a weak point in the,
or
in
a
the
gap,
firmament.
and this
That will
shouldn't
cause
happen.
collapse.
Yeah.
Cause collapse.
Gaps should never happen.
So we have newly born stars all the time. During the process of dying out, stars condense matter in such a way that can produce very heavy or very dense forms of matter. One of these stages is what we call pulsars or neutron stars. Neutron stars are small